So, in terms of connecting with people during this disconnected time, connect with positive people, people who give you good energy. You can do that through social media. You can do that professionally with meetings online for sure. If you normally have a meeting at a certain day, a certain time of the week, continue with those meetings. In fact, it's really important to connect with people, even if it's just for a coffee break or whatever break. You think this is coffee in here, right? Okay, we'll go with that. Whatever your choice is, connect with people and use social media to do that. Now, here's another tip that has really helped me, and I'm thinking it might help you too. And that is, now this is something that I normally do not have time for, but I have found time to do this in the last week or two. And it is, let me know if you have time for this or if this appeals to you too. It is reading. And these are some books that I wanted to share with you that I have read or I am in the process of reading that I find really useful. And I'm going to just share a little bit from them right now. This one called Dodging Energy Vampires is all about where you get your energy from and avoiding people who suck you dry of your energy. And in the book, they talk about, let me just find the part where I clipped here. They talk about relationship investment. Now, I don't agree with everything in this book. For example, there's one paragraph here where they say they say, I've listed the character styles below with some self-assessment questions to see if these apply to you. And then their first bullet reads, extroversion and excitement seeking. Do you find you often get into relationships with people who are extroverted and exciting? Does the idea of being in a comfortable relationship seem boring to you? That almost sounds pejorative toward extroverts, which I don't appreciate. I honor both introverts and extroverts. For the introverts in my life, I get the fact that you get energy internally and that the introverts who are online, I commend you for reaching out and joining us today because I know that that's not always comfortable. But as my good friend Angela Sutcliffe, who is a tremendous business coach, if anybody needs one, she's located in Ottawa and she has clients all across Canada. So again, with social media, it doesn't matter where you're from. Angela reminded me that during this time of this pandemic, when we're all engaged in self-isolation and protection measures, it's a time for us to reach past our comfort zones and to try new things, try new technology, reach out with social media if you don't normally. And so that comment from this book, it's going to show it flipped because Facebook does this nasty thing where it flips stuff backwards. Dodging energy vampires. That paragraph on extroversion sounds almost pejorative, and I'm not sure I like it. But the next paragraph I really do appreciate and agree with. And it says, the bullet is, relationship investment. Do you give great emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial investments to all your relationships, not just your intimate ones? Do you often feel as if you're giving 80% while the other people are only giving 20%? If that sounds like you, heads up. You might be setting yourself up to engage with an energy vampire. So watch out where you're getting your energy from and where you're spending your energy. I always say you show what you value in life by how you spend your resources. And the most valuable of any of your resources is your time. And the reason why is because it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much energy you give it, how much effort you give it. Time is the leveler for all of us. We only have 24 hours a day. So time and how you spend it is the way that you can most honor the people in your life that you care about. Give them your time. So reach out, give them a few minutes. You won't feel so alone, and they won't feel so alone. If you're feeling lonely or feeling very isolated these days, and maybe that's not a new feeling for some of you, maybe you've tasted that in your life. If you've never tasted that sense of loneliness and emptiness and that void, just wait. It might happen. And that's the time in particular that you want to reach out and create a different reality. So that book, Dodging Energy Vampires, is a really good one. I liked that one, and you might like it too. And it is available on, Amazon.ca or Amazon.com, as is this one, which is written by my cousin, Rosalind Franken. You can also go to her website, Rosalind Franken, because it's available on her website as well. And she tells an amazing story. The book is called Meant to Be, and it's a true story about her parents who both survived World War II concentration camps. Her father was born in Indonesia and was taken by Japanese soldiers and held in their camps. And her mom was born in the Netherlands, and she was taken into the concentration camps under Hitler. So just a horrible, horrible period for them to live through. And what I gathered from this book, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like really, I'm almost through all of it. Look at that bookmarker there. And I don't read fast. I'm an editor, so I read everything slowly. This book is easy to read. And I want to share with you a passage from here. Just amazing stories that in one way they haunt me. I find that I'm thinking about them all the time, and I am inspired by them. So I want to just read a little section here. This is an excerpt from her book here. This is from her father, John, who was captured by the Japanese emperor's soldiers during World War II and suffered amazing and so many struggles. Wow. And when you read that, you kind of think, wow, he got through that, and he got through it with a positive attitude. So what can we take from that? And he writes, or she writes rather, about her dad. He delighted in meeting, this is after the war, and when he connects with a young Jewish person's group, when he was returned back to freedom. And he writes, he delighted in meeting young people who were close to his own age. He remembers enjoying playing games and cards with them, reveling in the immense freedom of swimming in the ocean and how wonderful it was to be leisurely bathing on the beach without a care in the world. He relished their company and appreciated the ability to laugh again. Wow. So just think about that for a moment. Laugh again. Imagine relishing that as a tremendous gift. You have that gift already. You can laugh again whenever you choose to. And this is continuing. I'll continue with the reading. By surrounding himself with positive people close to his own age, he regained the ability to experience the feeling of true joy. This enabled John to better cope with the adjustment to his newly found freedom versus many of his friends who instead chose to isolate themselves. This is something very powerful to consider. Many times when faced with adversity and stressful situations, there's a tendency to keep it to ourselves, believing that we must suffer and solve our problems alone. Feeling isolated, we don't realize that reaching out to others and surrounding ourselves with joyful people, like all of you, with joyful people can actually help us heal and overcome, especially if those others are positive people who can help us feel a sense of safety and belonging. And that's what this call is all about. That's what you reaching out to people is all about. It's about connecting with positive people. And on that note, too, here's another book. Now, this looks familiar to a few of you. If this looks familiar, give me a thumbs up. I know that some of you are out there who have this book, either e-version or the hard copy, the print copy. So give me a thumbs up or a heart if you have this book or you recognize the title. That book is one that I wrote, and it also is available on Amazon, or it's available through me as well, except I can't really mail things these days because I can't go out of the house a whole lot. This book, The Finkelstein Factor, was actually inspired by my husband, who, as you can see, has an amazing sense of humor, sometimes a little misunderstood. I apologize in advance. But in the book, I talk about this. Oops. I offer what I call the Flip It formula. And in the Flip It formula, I talk about acknowledging the loss. So think about, what is it that we're all losing right now when we have to give up things because of this pandemic. It hurts. Some of us are giving up financial security. Some of us are giving up hugging and touching and holding hands and hugging people that we love. So then step 2 is 4 flipping questions. And I want to focus on this one here. How could it be worse? I asked that question once to a colleague who was going through a difficult time, and she looked at me in a puzzled way and said, Marian, how is thinking about how it could be worse going to help me right now during a difficult situation, which many of you may be facing right now? And I said to her, well, it really helps to breed a sense of gratitude, because when you look at other people's situations who are living them right now, or situations that you have previously lived and you got through, you realize that it could be worse. And it puts you in a framework to really have an attitude of gratitude. So I want you right now to think about, how could your situation right now be worse? Whatever situation it is that you're living through. It could be worse that, maybe you could be sick. Maybe you are sick. And it could be worse that you don't have people surrounding you who care. Maybe you don't have people who surround you who care. And it could be worse by maybe you don't have social media, so that you can't even reach out, even if you wanted to. If you can't reach out if you wanted to, it could be worse that maybe other people wouldn't be reaching out at all to you. How could your situation be worse? So again, I really encourage you to take this opportunity to read some books that you find inspiring and energy giving, and that will help buoy your spirit. Now I want to share with you a couple other things that I've done. Thanks, Lil, for your comments, and I know that you've had the book and that you enjoyed reading it, and you passed on your comments previously to me, and I love you for it. Thank you. Anybody who's read that book or is interested in it, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up on any of these tips, or a heart on any of these tips that you enjoyed, that you think you're going to use in your life. Now, right now, I'm in my basement, my walkout. Let me show you what I see here. This is where my office is located. This is my little coffee station, because you got to have coffee, right? And this is the view that I get outside, which is really nice. Communing with nature really helps to lift your spirits. There we go. Oh my goodness. Isn't that great? Just listen to that. You can hear the wind. And on a really, really quiet day, first thing in the morning, believe it or not, I can even hear on a quiet day the falls. Yeah, I can hear the falls. Communing with nature is a terrific way to get your balance back again. So if you can, go out for a walk. Get out there, get some fresh air, go in your backyard. Now, what I would suggest that you do, though, is be cautious about what your particular area is allowing or not. I know that here in Niagara Falls, Mayor Diodati, who's done a terrific job communicating with people regionally in this area, that Niagara Falls has posted directives that Niagara people are not allowed. We are allowed to go for walks on streets and such, but we are not allowed to go for walks in parks and sports amenities. We're not allowed to use sports amenities, which means we're not allowed to golf. We're not allowed to go to commune in the parks. We're not allowed to get into groups of people. not allowed. Social distancing, physical distancing is required. That's tough right now, and it might make you feel very isolated. Communing with something bigger than yourself, like nature, will help you feel more grounded, feel more connected, feel more peaceful. So give it a shot. Check your Google first, what's allowed in your area. And here's another tip that I did. Now, I don't know if you have a whole bunch of old VHS tapes. I sure did. I had a whack of them. This whole thing was filled with 8mm tapes. And then, look at this. Holy moly, right? Tons and tons and tons of tapes. And I used to actually host and produce Cablevision programs about a long time ago when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And I had a bunch of them on VHS. The quality is really pitsy. It doesn't matter. So what I did was the 8mm are all Steve's old kid videos. And so Linda Peloso, you say I would need to stay in your office to drown out the to drown out, you know who. Oh, is that somebody upstairs? Gotcha. I know what you mean. Hopefully he's not online right now. Yeah, I do stay in my office when I'm working, but not all the time. Anyways, to get the videos, because what I did was the 8mm, I got them transferred onto little, what do you call those? The USBs, these little things. And I surprised Steve. So the 8mm films are all about him, and it includes his bar mitzvah. We have shots on there of his parents and his family. We have shots of him as a little kid. And here's the really cool part. We live in Niagara Falls right now. We live here for about 7 years now. And well, I grew up in this area, but Steve, for him, this is a new experience. However, on those 8mm films, there was a shot of him and his brother and his parents, and they are out on the Niagara Parkway, and they are having a picnic. It's all in black and white. They're having a picnic, and they are there with a couple guys who are clearly singing, and Mark and Steve are doing this. Let me see. I'm going to put the camera right here so you can see. This is what they're doing. They're twisting. And the two guys who are singing are actually members of the band called, wait for it, the Ink Spots. Anybody remember that name? Anybody recognizes that name, the Ink Spots? Give me a thumbs up or a little heart if you recognize the name, the Ink Spots. They were a very popular band in the 1960s, and they did like, I guess, Motown-y type music. There you go. I get a thumbs up. Yeah, the Ink Spots. Such a small world. They were friends of Chuck and Sylvia Finkelstein. And it's just so cool that when Steve was a little kid, he was dancing on the parkway. When my family, when we were kids, we used to often go for drives along, the 1940s. Okay, they were popular in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. Close enough. That he was dancing on the parkway the very time when my family could have been going for their Sunday drive and seeing them. How cool is that? Wow, huh? So my suggestion is, if you have a bunch of VHS films, get them transferred. You will enjoy hours of video watching, because we have had a few laughs, and it's just wonderful seeing faces and hearing voices of people that you haven't seen and heard in a long time. Our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, our relatives. You can do the same. And it made for a wonderful surprise too. I look forward to seeing all of them. So those are some tips of things that you can do. Remember to reach out on social media. Here's a final tip is stay connected on Facebook. So again, if you have enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what tip you're going to be putting to use. Write it in your little comments below. I'm really curious. What are you going to do to create a positive environment for you to feel connected and to connect and reach out with other people. And one last tip, this is it. Reconnect with your hobbies. And here's a hobby of mine that I have not done in absolute years, and that is play guitar. I've written over 100 songs. I don't play well. I don't sing well. It's not about sounding great. It's about enjoying it. So what's a hobby that you can revisit, that you can get joy from, that can give you great energy? If you haven't liked my Facebook page already, get rid of the vampires. Absolutely. Let me know what else you're doing. Oh, yay, Denise, she transferred her wedding videos. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I want to watch that, Denise. When we get back together, I want to watch that. Let me know what tips you're going to be using. And until we meet again, I am Marian Grov Finkelstein, wishing for you better communication, better business, better health, better everything. I love and need all my friends and colleagues and family, and so do you right now. Even if you don't think you do, you need them and they need you. So reach out, stay connected, like my Facebook page, and let me know what tips you're going to be using. Thanks for joining us. Take care and stay well. Stay home, save lives. Cheers, everybody.